Some of the key challenges that an air defense system will face are detection ranges, which are a function of either the radar return off the target, whether the target is emitting its own radio frequency emissions or not, uh, and its speed if it is to be intercepted and destroyed. So that in essence gives you sort of an idea of uh, the kind of platforms that uh, air defense systems encounter and how challenging they are to take down. So a typical legacy large aircraft, like say a tanker or an AWACS, an airborne early warning aircraft, those are fairly slow and fairly large, so easy to see at long ranges, and given the right weapon set or the right um, combat aircraft in the kill chain, not terribly difficult to take out, which is why they often operate far from the front forward areas of the battle space. And then they have in the case of AEW, they have the kind of radar range to operate from depth areas and still provide useful information on the battle space. Tankers again will operate in rear areas both to protect the tanker, but also because by their very nature they are extending the ranges of the aircraft that they're refueling. So operating in depth doesn't really hurt. Um, then come your legacy, what we might use shorthand for fourth generation aircraft, which are non-stealthy. So again, they have radar returns that are fairly um, large and can be picked up at fairly long ranges. And these aircraft are fairly short-ranged compared to the larger ones, so they operate closer to at tactical ranges, closer to the forward edge of the battle area, and can be engaged and destroyed accordingly with long-range, medium-range surface-to-air missiles and down to short-range systems if they are within range if they're conducting an attack at short range. Um, where the detection and destruction gets a little complicated is when it comes to munitions themselves. So intercepting, say, cruise missiles, but also stealth aircraft. So stealth essentially reduces, it doesn't eliminate, no aircraft is invisible to radar, but what it does is it presents a very small radar cross section. So these aircraft are very difficult to detect at ranges that are tactically useful. So, I mean, the gold standard, of course, would be for the radar detection range to be less than the range of the standoff weapon that the aircraft is carrying, which means you don't detect the aircraft until well after it's too late, well after he's launched his payload. But even if you do detect them at, you know, um, useful ranges exceeding the range of their own weapons, that still reduces the time available to you to detect, classify, and act on what you're seeing, which confers then the tactical advantage to the stealthy aircraft. And it's the same with weapons because they inherently are smaller and therefore have a smaller radar return, and so are harder to detect and generally fly fairly fast. So um, mostly in the high subsonic regime, just below the speed of sound. But a lot of weapons, air-launched weapons, for example, the BrahMos missile that the Indian Air Force uses, travel 3 times the speed of sound and are fairly small in terms of their radar returns. So would be detected at ranges that would make them effectively impossible to intercept.